Beshat Tova, another shiur class of mesilat, yesharim, Ramchal, Haram Moshe Chaim Lesato, that almost next week is his yortzeit, that we should always have growth and ilui in our learning and connection to Hashem. So we discussed last week and these past weeks and months that there are certain laziness in ourselves as a human being that we compromise not to grow. We rather to stay where we are. We are kind of hesitating to change. Obviously, when it comes to money, luxury, beauty, fame, olam hazeh, we always want the maximum. But when it gets to Torah and Yahadut and Emunah and Bitachon and Misvot and Maasim Tovim and Midot, and in general, morality and spirituality, we okay with minimum. And this is the laziness which Ramchal tried to point out, that don't believe in yourself. Don't fool yourself. Don't trick yourself. You're not the same person when it gets to luxury compared to spirituality. And therefore, if you can be the best in Olam Hazeh, why can't you be the best in Olam Haba as well? Why you want to compromise? Why you want to lower your potential? So we got to the point that Ramchal says the only way that you could protect yourself from this sort of laziness is zahirut, how to be careful and vigilant, not to let it go down or not to lose your balance in life. And little by little, now Ramchal is trying to make us aware of the exact observation of Hashem, that nothing go to waste. And we have to be careful how Hashem is judging us or observing us. So last week, we mentioned and we read about Abraham, how close he was with Hashem. He called him Abraham Ohavi, Abraham, my beloved one. But still, anything went wrong, Hashem kind of took advantage, or he had to bear a consequence. Why? Because that's how Hashem he is. He always wants to bring out the full potential of us. And he doesn't want us, if we could be the top student, to get a minimum grade. He wants us to always push ourselves to become the best. Now we're going to read about Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov also had to pay a price. Yaakov also had a consequence because of certain behavior, which to us might be, what's wrong? You know how many mitzvot Yaakov did? Of course. Especially those who have a good record of success, they don't want to lose it and they care about it. But those who they don't have anyway a good record, they don't mind. They take a chance. You know, there are certain doctors or surgeons, even though the patient is in a very critical and sensitive situation, but they know if they take that case and do the surgery, he or she, the patient, it might not make it. And what's going to be in the record? That some people died in their operation room, even though they were in a very critical situation, but they still is gonna leave scar in the record. So they rather not to take a case, even though they know he's very sick, she's very sick, really could help her. But you know what? I don't want to ruin my credit, my record, no matter how much you pay me. That's why famous doctors, because they're so expert, they're very careful which case or patient to choose. Doesn't matter how critical it is. It depends if it's gonna add to the record or is gonna hurt the record. So therefore, those who are actually sadiqim or hasidim and pure people, they are the one who really care about their purity, more sidkut. But those who are not anyway, they don't mind. So they are not that careful. It doesn't bother them. So therefore, Yaakov al-Shahara apo berachel, a little shalom bayit problem that Yaakov had. He got angry over Rachel comment. What did Rachel say? Havali banim, please get me some children. This poor wife, after so many years waiting to have a children, and she sees that Leah becoming more and more fruitful, more children. All she asked was, Havali banim. So what did Yaakov say? Am I Tahat Elokimani? Am I God? Hashem didn't want to. Go talk to Hashem. It's not my fault. So Amru Midrash. So in Midrash, they explain. Hashem told him, Kach onim et hameukot. Is this how one answer the crushed person? You see, she's under pressure. You talk to her like that, you got to pay the price. What was the consequence? Hayecha shebanecha omdim lifnei benah. The Holy One, blessed is He, said to Yaakov, as a swear, I declare that your sons, means from Leah or otherwise, will stand before her son, which is Yosef. And this was fulfilled when the brothers had to face Yosef in Egypt after Yaakov's death, that they kind of felt hopeless. What's going to happen to us now? Yaakov died, the father no longer here, and Yosef now is going to take the revenge. It's not that they panicked and they were they were sad about Yaakov's death, but rather they were worried about themselves. What's going to happen to us? But again, that was the consequence which Yaakov caused for his children, because he did not kind of handle his reaction correctly towards Rachel. And I'm sure if you would have asked Rachel, are you mad over Yaakov coming? Do you really upset? I'm sure she would have said, no, Yaakov meant good. Yaakov is Sadiq. Yaakov is so close to Hashem. Yaakov is Navi. I'm sure Rachel had nothing against Yaakov. But Hashem says, Yaakov, for your own sake, because I want you to be flawless with no spot, anything negative in your record, I have to clean it up here. We have to settle here in Olam Hazeh because I want you to have a good record in Olam Haba. And this is one of the answers that Hachamim they give for this major question. Sadiq veralo rasha v'tovlo. How come we find some reshaim who are in the very good situation, and how come we find Sadiqim that are in the very bad situation? This is one of the answers. This Rasha, the only thing he did was only 1 or 2 mitzvot. So Hashem says, you know what? Let's even out here in Olam Hazeh. Let me give you the whole world and everything, pleasure, this, that, fame, just to clear our balance, that when you come there, this way, I don't have to pay you anything. I already paid you here. And Sadiq as well, he did everything good, but 1 or 2 mistakes. Hashem says, you know what? Haval, why you want to come over there and because of 1 or 2 mistakes go through the hell? Here, let's clarify it here. But we don't know the hashbonot of Hashem. So therefore, Ramchal tried to give us the message. Don't take life as a granted. And don't think if you forgot, Hashem forgot as well. And if you don't care, Hashem doesn't care as well. Everything for Hashem matters. So be careful, what are you doing? Another situation which Yaakov also had to pay the price, because when he was about to meet with Esau, his brother, after 22 years, he got scared that maybe Esau would have eye on Dinah, his daughter, to take her as a wife. So what did Yaakov do? He hid Dinah, placed his daughter Dinah in a box so that Esau would not see her and wish to take her as a wife. In our understanding, obviously, Dinah was not that old. She was very young. Esau was the age of Yaakov, over 70 years old, minimum. A 70 years old uncle wants to marry under bat mitzvah girl, Dinah. What does Yaakov worry about? There is no even, but Yaakov says, you never know. And maybe Yaakov was right, but Hashem says, you close the last chance for Esau to do teshuvah, because there is no hope that he would come back again, because obviously all the wives that he has now are Oved Avodah Zarah. They don't worship Hashem. Maybe If Dinah was getting married to Esau, she could have influence on him. Even though to us, no shayach, it's not relevant. But according to Hashem, says, listen, you never know. Rabot machshavot belev ish, v'asad Hashem itakom. Afal pi shekevanotai vaday letova. Even though Yaakov Kevana, his intention in hiding her daughter Dinah was certainly good. Nevertheless, because he withheld kindness from his brother, he kind of hold back his hesed towards his brother. He was punished. That unfortunately, Dinah got raped by Shechem ben Hamor. Totally a stranger in a very non-proper way. Amro b'midrash amalach Kadosh Baruch Hu lamas mereu hased lo bikashta lahasya lemahul. At least one of the advantage that the Esau had, at least he had Brit Milah. He was mahul. He was circumcised, and you didn't want your daughter marry someone at least with this mitzvah. Unfortunately, she would get raped by non-mahul, non-circumcised, arel, harehi niselare. And we know Shechem, none of them had Brit Milah. Lo bikashta lahasiyat derech heter. You didn't want her to get married in the authorized heter, derech heter. Harehi nised derech isur. Behold, she will be married to a forbidden manner, being forcibly violated by Shechem and raped, and getting pregnant, going back to his father, Yaakov, and not only that, not seeing her child, who was a girl also, for almost 30 years. Because as soon as she gave birth, they took the baby and they gave it as a slave or adoption to Egypt. She grew up also in Potiphar house. Yosef, her uncle, also was in the same household. And both they got married, Yosef and Osnat. Osnat was the daughter of Dinah, who got pregnant by Shechem. She was daughter of Dinah, which is Yaakov Avinu. Yeah. And that was the only reason Yosef he agreed to marry her. So this is the whole idea which Ramchal wants to tell us.
He's very lucky.
That's what the Ramchal wants to take us. That you know what? That don't have your own calculation supersede the calculation of Hashem. And we see even Yosef himself. Lefi shama lesaramashkim in zachartani ittecha. Since Yosef asked Sarah Mashkim, the bartender, of course, That was the main job over there, wine, drinking. So the king had a bartender, Sarah Mashkin, who was in charge of the wine and the drink. So as we know, he got into trouble and he happened to be in the same jail with Yosef. But Yosef, based on the dream, made him free. And he asked him, do me a favor, in case you go to Paro again, please mention my name. Ki im zachartani tacha. Remember me. Hashem says, you rely on someone but Hashem, you stay 2 more years. So we see from here how exact is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, this is a good news, you know why? Because the same way Hashem is exact in a kind of serious way and kind of our mistakes, same thing, Hashem is exact on a mitzvot. If my smile made someone happy and gave him hope to continue his day and to stay in peace, even that smile, according to Hashem, worth million, and I get reward for it. The same way that the Hashem is so exact for our mistakes, the same thing Hashem is exact for our good deed, which can help others or ourselves. So there is always exact calculation by Hashem. And one of the Pirushim that they say, why Hashem was so, what was Yosef's mistake? Listen, everyone, anybody, if he's in trouble, tries his best, ask whoever he can to help him. So all Yosef did, listen, you go to Paro, just don't forget to remember me, to remind him about me. What did he do? Because these mistakes actually happen to us also. Because Yosef asked the same person that he did him a favor with the dream. And that was kind of, I deserve it. I helped him. Why not? He should help me as well. So in other words, sometimes we make a business. I help, I get help. This way, our expectation towards others, it becomes so valid that of course, انقدر من کمکش کردم. Why not? اینا باید به من کمک بکنه. So Hashem says exactly from the same source that you expect, and it's so valid and it's so kind of acceptable by you که چون من بهش خوبی کردم پس اینم باید من خوبی بکنه دیگه، جای هیچ نگرانی و شکی نیست. اتفاقا from the same source Hashem says, hold on a minute, everything is decided from Hashem. Even the person that you've been so nice to, still only is his decision if he wants to be nice to you too. So therefore, don't think anything to your heart to say, این همه بهش خوبی کردم آخرشم فلان. It's not up to you or up to him. It's all up to Hashem. So that's what Yosef showed us, that اتفاقا از هر کسی که توقع بیشتره سعی کن که کمتر توقع داشته باشه. چون همون توقع بیشتر به خودت اجازه میدی که of course I deserve it, of course he has to do it. اون موقع است که دیگه دست و کمک خداوند رو تو این وسط امکان داره که دور بکن. از بچه ها کدوم بچه ها؟ نوهاتون رو دارید میگید؟ یا بچه همسایه؟ یوسف اسما الشحانت ات اویو بلی رشد شل مقام. And we see again Yosef went through another consequence. That since he embalmed his father, یعنی مویایی کرد قبل جسد پدرش رو موقعی که یعقوب فوت کرد, without asking Hashem if it is the right thing to do or not. And we see that he was punished که خودش هم مویایی شد. And since he heard that the brothers are saying Avdecha Avinu, غلام تو پدر ما. کبود آوایم. What is the kibud avayim? Veshatak, and he was quiet. 10 سال از عمرش کم شد. Because he heard 5 times in Hebrew, the brother said, 5 times in Egyptian, when the translator said, 10 times he heard and he was quiet. Hashem says, you know what? You have to pay the price. 10 years of his life.
I don't understand. He lost 10 years of his life. Why?
He was supposed to live 120 years. He lived 110 years because when brothers came and he was investigating, he was investigating him. And they said, our father, your servant said this, or he's alive, or he's sick. They mentioned 5 times about their fathers, your servant. And he was hearing that.
But he was in disguise. He did it for a reason.
Again, according to us, he had no other choice. He was forced. He was disguised. He couldn't reveal himself, and everything was a plan. But he himself, according to the level of Yosef, Hashem doesn't want him to come over there with a little blemish. He wants to make it clear.
He lost 10 years of his life. Hashem was part of the big that was the conspiracy, whatever you were going to call it, that everyone should be quiet and not tell Yaakov, right? Like he couldn't reveal it. He was unused.
Again, revealing to Yaakov that Yosef is alive is a different. Here that are in the kind of investigation and how to use the terms of their father is different.
Then they would have told their father if they knew that he was alive now.
I mean, not necessarily he should have just revealed himself to stop them, because listen, I don't want you to talk about your father like that. Just say your father. He could have somehow stopped them, somehow make him not to say this thing. Yes.
Because he didn't object that they were putting him down.
Exactly. And he heard Vishatak and he was quiet. He had to pay the price.
Question. So here, Joseph got punished for his own choices. Why Dina got punished for his father?
That's a very good question. That's another good question. But she also, we see in the Torah, put herself in kind of a Nisayon situation, that she wanted also to be noticed. She was interested to get attention. And that's how he got the Shechem attention. Yeah.
And she revealed the part of
Yes.
him.
You have the question?
Yeah, how is Vaidom different from Veshakat?
What's the difference between Veidom and Veshakat? Shtika means verbal silence. But Vayidom means emotional silence.
Which one is higher?
Which one is deeper? Vayidom, that you are quiet from inside, not only from outside. Vayidom means accepting, but it comes from demama, from domem. Domem means sanguine, that are domem, they have no movement. So that's is a more kind of a silent than just the shetika, which is only verbally. Exactly, he was bothered, but he didn't say anything. But for the Sadiq, Hashem kind of نکته سنجایی که هشم با صدیکیم داره برای صدیک خوبه، چون میدونه که مثل یه نقاشی یا یه مجسمه سازی که داره ظرافت این نقاش یا مجسمه رو بیشتر میکنه که کوچکترین خط و خالی یا لکه‌ای رو داره میخواد تمیز بکنه. برای اون صدیکه خودش بعداً میفهمه که چقدر برای خوبیش بوده. Many students, they really appreciate their teachers who at the young age, they were very tough teachers. At the young age, they didn't appreciate, but after years that they realized if it wasn't because of tough teachers, they would have not taken the life seriously and they would not get to where they are now. They said, it's good that I had a tough teacher who made sure that I study, made sure that I learn. This way I could benefit and achieve who I am now. Lemar kede itle, Omar kede itle. So therefore, unfortunately, Yosef died before any other brothers. Met lifnei Ahav. David, lefi shekara li v'torah zemirot שנכשל בדבר עוזה ונתער בבשמחתו. If you remember, we explained that before. David also had another sort of consequence because he called Divrei Torah Zemirot, song. Hashem says, oh, you called my Torah song, means kind of a Zemirot. I will show you that your simcha should be kind of canceled. And we know that they had a kind of a Hachmasat Sefer Torah when the Aron HaKodesh was coming back from Plishtim, and they were so happy that Aron HaKodesh, we freed the Aron HaKodesh from hostage and we're getting it back. Unfortunately, someone who was carrying it died by the name of Uzzah, and the whole simcha got disrupted. Michal, wife of David, who kind of made fun of David, that's how you act in front of people and you dance in front of Torah, but you are a king. Yes, Torah is Hashuv, but you are a king. How do you dance like that in the streets in front of people? She got punished and she couldn't have child. מיכל, לפי שהוכיחה את דוד במה שרקד בחוץ לפני הארון, נענשה שלא הייתה לה ולד, אלא במותה. Only when she passed away, they find out somehow that she had a child. Let's see, what does that mean? 35. 35. I think so. When she gave birth, Sarizora, then she passed away. When David eventually moved the ark from the thing, it says,
But didn't David have?
Yeah, from that, Michal did not bear a child thereafter until the day she died in childbirth. سر زارا مثل آخر نینشا شلایت الله ولاد الله متا Chizkiyahu got punished. Why? Lefi sheher el sarei melech bavel et beit nechoto. Since Chizkiyahu was a king and he showed to the other kings like Bavel of that time his palace. So Hashem says, hold on, you think your palace is for you, that you want to show it and reveal it to Goyim? Nigzar al-Banav, the decree was upon the children of Chizkiyahu that to be servant in the palace of Babel. Means his children got into hostage as a servant, Garsone Padishah Babel شدن, which is, we know, it says in Melachim, and what happened with the Am Israel who went to Galut. That was part of it. Verabim ka'ilem. So therefore, you find many of these incidents and examples that what? Even Tzaddikim, which were not kind of in their madrega, in their level, they were not careful, what happened to them? So Ramchal says, don't say, oh, Hashem Bakhshi, everything okay, don't worry, I'm not in that level. Still, always we have to be careful about Hashem judgment. And obviously, it's all because of our good. به نفع خودمونه که همیشه پروندهمون پاک باشه. Because every day we need Hashem and we praying to Hashem. Especially in Modim. Al Hayenu HaMesurim Biyadecha. Our life is in your hand, Hashem. Means so fragile that in matter of a millionth of a second, if Hashem decides, He could turn off the button. No one knows. Our life is in hand of Hashem. So how much we depended, we need Hashem in our life. And that's what Ramchal says. The only way we could really take a full advantage is Zahirut, to be careful, to watch out. Not just ignore our sensitivity. We have to be sensitive, careful about what's around us and what's going on. May Hashem help us to do it and to get to the level that Hashem expects us to do and to have our mission accomplished. Baruch Hashem Le'olam.